Good. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is Look in the Mirror, the conversation. Let me see where King is. King, come on, man.
I'm right here in the building, dog. What you talking about? You all gonna be late. I'm on CP time. Let's go.
It's all
Cracking.
good, man. It's all good. Listen, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. This is Look in the Mirror, the conversation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Quay Price. We got our other co-host. Tell them who you are, man.
Man, King Jacquel Martin, we in the building. We out here making noise, you know what I mean? And we excited for this conversation. We want to hear what y'all got to say. So make sure y'all check out that link Quake put up there and make sure y'all join the panel. Come talk to us.
So we're gonna post that link in the feeds. And actually I'm gonna drop it up here real quick so y'all can see it right now. All right, so that's the link to the feed right there. I'm gonna drop it in a couple other spots so y'all have it, because I said I want everybody to check in tonight. Yeah, we got an interesting little topic we're gonna get into tonight. We shout out to Rodney. He said, "What up, though?" From Lansing, Michigan, checking in. Shout out to you, Rodney.
Join the panel. Stop playing. Join.
Rodney, man, he said, "Come on, get on the panel, man." He said, "You got to quit playing around, man."
It's gonna get ugly tonight. It's gonna get ugly tonight. We're gonna need some, you know what I'm saying, some other people in the ring.
Oh, for sure. No, it's about to go down, man. I can feel it, man. We got a couple folks, man, who had something to say about this one, but we're gonna see how it pop off. So I just popped it down in the post, so you guys will see it in the feed. So let's do these sponsors real quick. I know we got a guest ready to check in.
It's that time to pay them bills.
For sure. Let me do these sponsors real quick, then we're gonna get into that topic.
All
right. Shout out to our first sponsor, A War on Friendly Grounds. This is our own King Jacquel Martin's book right here, 5-star rated on Amazon. Man, he's got the short film that accompanies the book. I said, literally going viral all the way around the world, literally. Man, film festivals left and right, wins left and right. It's going crazy. So definitely go support that brother, A War on Friendlygrounds.com, A War on Friendly Grounds with an S.com. And then shout out to our second sponsor, Two Sons Juice Co. Cold pressed juice company based in Metro Detroit, all natural, only the good stuff. Got the fruit blends, the veggie blends, got the little cleanses going on. So definitely go check them out. Support Metro Detroit, the number 2 sonsjuiceco.com, the number 2 sonsjuiceco.com.
Straight out of Wakanda, all that natural good stuff. You know what I mean? You can pronounce everything that's in it. You know exactly what you're drinking. You feel me? They got detoxes, a little bit of everything over there. So y'all make sure y'all support this black-owned business, Two Sons.
For sure. So let's get into this, man. We got a guest one to join us. I'm gonna drop this title real quick, and then we're gonna get into this. So the title for tonight, are open relationships okay? Are open relationships okay? So we're gonna get our guest in here. I don't want to keep her waiting.
Might have to get some tea next time you drop a title like that. We might have to get some tea.
Shay, how you doing?
Hey.
Did she freeze up on us? Oh, she said she did.
I'm
How you
good.
doing?
How
Welcome
are
to the
you?
show. Doing well. Welcome to the show.
I'm good.
Hey, Shay, tell the people a little about yourself, you know, where they can find you, what you do, how they can be supportive.
Well, I am a disability case manager. I live in Florida now, but I'm from Detroit.
Lit.
Can definitely find my husband Black American National Gun Club. So support it.
Oh,
firearm safety to the Black community and also any other allies and supporters. It's very, very good. So CCW training. He actually is doing like mass shooting protection, home protection, all types of different stuff. So
a big shout out to your husband for preparing people for the future and things to come, because it's already happening and people do need to be prepared. I think that's something that in our community that we haven't taken as serious as we should. So gun safety is very important. Being able to make sure that you have a registered weapon. So big shout out to him for doing that for us in our community. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
And I said, we need more of that. I appreciate him doing that as well. I said we need more brothers, representing, essentially that Second Amendment and safety and protection. And, and then too, I will say this, I'm sure that helps our sisters to feel more comfortable as they're
Yes,
learning and going through that process, and and just the image of that brother, you know what I'm saying, supporting them through the process so they can learn and be comfortable. So yeah, like I said, salute to that brother for doing that. I appreciate that.
Hey, matter of fact, we're gonna salute him so much. That's a show that we should do. You know, we should do a show on
oh
a topic
please,
about that, about, safety, about the
very
right
happy.
to bear arms, understanding that law, why
Yes,
it's important, on the safety of it, of having a weapon in your house, and, just being in the right mental state to even have a weapon in your house, to feel comfortable doing that. So I think that's something that's very important. I think that's a subject that we definitely need to touch, talk, and Shay, if you like to have your husband on the show, that way he can educate more people on a different level. If he's open to that, we would love for him to come on the show and educate us.
for sure. He would definitely be into doing that. And it's so many different levels. So all the things that you just named and then some, I mean, they're
Yeah,
just right now, you need it. And
yeah.
the sisters, really, we are the fastest growing group in getting our
Wow.
CC. So we, not just that we need the men to protect us, we know we need to protect ourselves. So it's a thing.
Good. No, we appreciate that. So let's get into this topic. So the topic of tonight is, are open relationships okay?
Mm.
And I posted about this, because I knew this was going to be the topic for tonight. So I just wanted to, kind of test the waters, see where folks were at. And
Well, what the people say?
you know what, man? So I got one comment from a young man, young gentleman. He says, yes, if you work for it like everything else. I was like, okay. I got another young man. He said, my wife and I are poly. We don't see it as a problem. I'm trying to see if I can get this brother to come on the show because I need to understand some things. We also had another comment from a young lady. She said, if both adults agree, then who am I to judge how you live your best life? Works for some people and not for others. Had another young lady. She said, not my thing, but I know many who make it work great and others who aren't making it work at all. So yeah, I had a couple responses. Then I also had another one from a young lady. She said, for those who are open, let's see, for those who are open, okay, let me lean back. I think she mistyped. For those who are open, I have two friends, one male, one lady. My male friend has his ladies that know about each other, and one of my best friends have her guys that know about each other. From what I am told, they do this for various reasons besides just sex. So basically things outside of the physical. So yeah, I got a couple responses. Then I had another response from somebody by the name of Shay Pope. And
Oh, spill all the tea. Spill all the tea. Please. Spill all the tea.
And she said, to each their own. She said, that would not work for me personally. So I said, Shay, you need to come on the show. And here Shay is right here in living color. So Shay, let's get into it. Why won't this work for you personally?
I think that everybody has to find their own way. I am truly I live and let live. I have no shade, no animosity to anybody that does it. For me, why it would not work is several reasons. I don't believe that it represents the values that I represent. And I wouldn't want to portray that to my children, that I believe that that's something that is appropriate also. So, I mean, I'm sure if you ask my husband, he'd be like, hey, if you ready, like we can, and I tend to think that it's more of a male driven thing. But
Hold on. Let me what's up under the bus.
I'm I really think, because I mean, everything is about communication. So if you respect the person you with and y'all discuss things, I definitely feel like it could work for some people, because if you are okay with that, then, and you both agree to that, I don't see why that would not work as well as any other relationship. The keys are the communication pieces. So as long as you're discussing what's going on and you both feel comfortable with what's going on, then I think it's okay for you. But I'm saying for me, it doesn't work. So the fact that he might entertain that or would entertain that, he's not going to be able to, because he got me. So therefore, it would not work for us, even if it might have worked for him.
He got me. He got me. I don't play that shit.
Right. So,
Let me grab this comment real quick. Kenyatta said, I was in an open relationship unknowingly. I would rather my guy talk to me about it than for him to cheat on me. So, okay. So let me ask this question. I gotta take a step back, Shaggy. You said a couple things I gotta touch. So you said that if you mention this to your husband, he probably would be on board.
Get
Right.
them.
How do you know that?
We've had conversations. You know what? Like he tries to play the angle of it not just being about sex, because he's like, people make it work because you don't got to do all the cooking and cleaning. You like, especially just relationship. You know, I know that there are differences there. So just about having like a sister wife, he like, you know, then you got somebody helping with the kids. You ain't got to do all, you know, and I'm like, I had a friend once who told me about her relationship because she was in a polygamous relationship, and she told me he has to be able to take care of both households. So he needs to earn enough money because they don't live together. He literally had 2 wives, houses, and he had to be able to maintain the lifestyle for both women and both households in order to be able to do that. So for her working was simply for her own money, for her bills, and all of her stuff was taken care of. So financially speaking, she found it to be a benefit. So, I mean, there are things that people could say, of course, that would be non-sexually related, but I still think that the bottom line is it's mostly about sex. I really don't like, you can put all of the things in really about, come on, let's tell the truth.
Wait a minute. See, I got questions now. Why? Okay. So why is it? Hold on, because here go the comments starting to come in. Kenyatta said, "My friend is a sister wife. She loves it. They all live in the same home." Okay. So now I got another question, Shaker. See, you saying some things that's just triggering some questions for me. Why do? And I'm no expert on this, right? I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from everybody tonight. Why do ladies assume or make the assumption that when something like this is going on, majority or a high percentage of the time it's tied to sex? Like, why do we think that?
Because, okay, there's many reasons, but let's just speak to biology. Let's start there. The
Okay.
way men are created, the male species is the alpha male, right? You're supposed to be the strongest. You're supposed to conquer the most. The whole point, and again, my husband would tell you that, you know, that's what you were born to do. You were supposed to be procreating with all the different women. That's what you naturally, instinctively want to do. Whereas women look for the alpha male, and we want the one male, and we want to gather and create home and make that the place for that relationship. So our biological makeups are different off rip. So that's why I tend to say, just science tells us that for the most part, men are going to be more naturally, instinctively set to go towards having multiple women because it's just nature.
Okay, I understand that. So in all of this, even in a situation where, like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not a expert in this situation either. So let me just put that on out there. I'm not an expert at all. Um, even in a situation where, because basically what it comes back to is there a level of selfishness in this topic? That's the vibe that I get, right? So when I hear some of the feedback from the ladies, is there a level of selfishness in this whole process? When ladies say that it wouldn't work for them.
I mean, I honestly don't think it's selfishness. I truly believe that we just typically have different agendas. So, I
Right.
mean, what's best for them. And we might not see eye to eye about what that best is. So
Okay.
I don't think either. Even the man who somebody would say it's selfish if they just want to sleep. But like, I don't necessarily think that's the case either. I think it's, again, natural and instinct and open, to them doing a little more than what women are typically naturally instinctively open to. So I don't think it's selfish. I just think it's more about what your needs are. And a lot of time a man may not feel like his needs are being met, and not for the fault of the woman, but again, just from that really wanting to conquer. I think that's innately there.
Okay, I get that. Go ahead, Los. I see it on your face, man. Go ahead, man.
You don't. I mean, 'cause the way you're painting the picture, as if it's only like a one-way street, as if women don't have high sex drives, as if sometimes women don't want multiple partners, as if women aren't selfish, or like I agree with what you're saying. I just think that works both ways. And I know scientifically you tried to say men, but throughout history, we see the power of a woman, what they can do too. And and a lot of men learn their game from a woman. You know what I mean? Because women have way more game. Women can see a guy that they're messing with, don't say nothing, wink, smile, and keep it moving. And men are stupid. You know what I mean? So I mean, women are way more manipulative.
Yeah, I thought that's where I heard.
Yeah. So I think there's multiple ways. I don't think there's a wrong answer in this, because in certain cultures, that is the lifestyle. I think in America, in the way we've grown up, in the way that we've raised, and the things that we've been taught have been, monogamy. You know what I mean? So I believe it's where you come from, which might dictate which lifestyle you live. But I find it interesting, and this is for the men, about who would be open to polygamy. Some of y'all niggas aren't even taking care of your own children, but then you want a whole nother family. Some of y'all ain't really handling y'all business in one situation, but yet, I mean, what's the point? Why not just be single? Why not just be cool? Why not just be open and honest and say you want a cuddy buddy? Why not just be straight up? Why even? What's the point of the relationship? Why not just be single, and you're able to have multiple people that you cool with, and you just tell both ladies what the situation is that way? Why is it such a relationship type of thing instead of just a friends with benefits type of thing?
Well, it sounds, but based on the comments I'm seeing, man, it sounds like there's more involved, right? So I'm seeing people talking about business relationships. I'm seeing people talking about, basically kind of spreading out the responsibilities of educating and raising the kids. I'm seeing tax.
That's just lazy. Shit. Call it what it is. Wash the dishes, and I ain't got to wash half the dishes. So I give up half the dishes. Man, that's lazy. Shut up. Come on now.
Don't you think it's to figure out how their lives mesh and work together? Like, that's like, I can't imagine throwing a third person into the equation. We have enough things that we have to figure out and determine if we mesh well on. To add a whole nother person to that dynamic just seems ludicrous to me. But
I mean, but my thing is just like with the confusion with the adults to a certain extent, and I'm not saying that it can't work, but wouldn't that kind of create possibly a little confusion for the young adults growing up in that environment? I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not judging like, oh, you should never do that. I'm not saying, because whatever works for you works for you. That's not my place. I'm just saying in all this chaos and confusion, and polygamy and an open relationship just might be different. You're right. Because in polygamy, you're taking care of both households. You're and you have responsibilities in that. In an open relationship, you might not have as many boundaries in that or whatever else. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of balance and finding the balance in that. And the children watching, because they're recording everything that you present, and which lifestyle do you think is right? That's why we're on the show to talk about it. So if anybody is in a polygamous relationship that would like to come help educate me, please join us. You know what I mean? If anyone who is strictly monogamous, like, no, me, I can't do it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna watch nobody else do what I'm doing. No, I'm selfish. I'm selfish.
See?
The hell with what you're talking about. I'm not gonna sit back and be like, oh yeah, bro, I'm tired today. Go ahead, bro. What? No. You know, so not me, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. I'm not judging for someone who can have that emotional intelligence to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's just when it comes to special for me, that's all.
So I mean, okay. So, you know, I know Tarita was saying that they're two different things, right? I can understand that to a certain extent, right? Because in both situations, the similarity is there's still agreed terms in the relationship, right? So if you agree to be polygamous or if you agree to be in an open relationship, right? I remember one of the big popular families was the Smith family, you know, and they allegedly were in an open relationship. I don't know if that was ever validated or confirmed or whatever, but I just remember that was a big thing, right? And there's still terms. There's still terms and agreements within that particular situation. So from that perspective, to me, they still the same. You still got to agree on what's going to work, what's not going to work, who's going to do what, how this and how that's going to get handled and so forth. So it's still a contract. So that's how I see it, regardless if it's multiple people or one or two, or, one or two. So that still exists. But I guess the question is, why do we think this has become a thing, right? So, going back into my younger years, my parents weren't talking about no open relationships, right? Now, I understand that there's probably always been some level of cheating that has existed through history, right? So that's probably never going to go away or never, it's always been there, as always will be. Yeah, I didn't hear this stuff. I didn't hear this stuff growing up. I didn't hear about no open relationships. I didn't hear about no polygamous. I didn't hear about none of that. So to me, this is.
You heard that?
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Stuff still exists, right? But this was not the topic, right? This was not a conversation like that. But now in current day, these things are more conversation. So how do y'all think we got here? Like, how do y'all think we got to the point where people are entertaining open relationships, right? Going back, when you got with a young lady, you wasn't trying to share nothing. And that went for the women as well. They weren't trying to share their man with no other female, right? So how do y'all think we got to this point where, people are being more accepting of sharing their partners with other people, and they're supposed to be in committed relationships? How y'all think we got here?
History. I mean, when you looked at kings back in the day, kings had multiple wives, in stories and times. I think in Africa and other cultures, you've seen men who had multiple women or whatever else. Right. And maybe we're just living in the evolution of what already was, you know what I mean? And we kind of compartmentalized, and when we came to this Western culture that was colonized, we picked up other people's habits. And maybe monogamy is wrong. Maybe monogamy is the wrong thing, you know what I mean? Because that was something that was taught, So deciding between what's what depends on where you're raised and where you come from.
Or okay. Right or wrong thing. Maybe it just is always wherever you are, it should be whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. But honestly, I think things are just more open, period. If you all of the different things that are socially acceptable now, which of course not, it's no offense to anybody. It's just literally just the way people are moving through the world right now is a lot more open. Especially, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Like they're not that. A lot of the stuff that's happening now was frowned upon. We'll just say frowned upon. Keep it simple.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we understand what you mean. Trust us, we understand what you mean.
But it's no shade. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
right.
everything. I think everything is trying to be pushed. The envelope to everything is trying to be pushed to see how far things can go. The fear for me, because again, it's always, what am I teaching? What am I showing it as the right way to move through the world? And honestly, I try to show that move through the world however you feel most comfortable. You need to be who you are, your authentic self, whatever that may be. But you see things like, there's associations for pedophiles, and people could argue that pedophiles used to always be around. There's always been, people used to marry 13, 14-year-olds. That was what was normal then.
Right.
At some point, people, determined that your frontal lobe isn't even fully developed. That don't even really happen to you're in your 20s. So all of that being the case, you recognize some things and thinking that's going too far, but don't be surprised if you get down the line and that becomes something that people are trying to make acceptable.
They are actually trying to pass laws for that now, currently, with pedophilia and those type of things,
Yeah.
I do think, I'm glad you said that there is an agenda at hand. I do think that the government or society does push narratives down people's throats. And are you really deciding what you're deciding, or are you being force-fed to believe what you believe?
Right.
Is that really your thought, or is that the program that's before you? You know what I mean? Because people are, she said it earlier, in the matrix, and people are being fed information. And if you see something over and over again, you become desensitized to it. So like, let's take this generation right now. This generation goes on TikTok, right? Let's just use TikTok for an example. They looking at the same thing that you looking at. The little kids are looking at the same stuff that you looking at. You know what I'm saying? And so they're seeing all these different sexual situations or acts happening. You know what I mean? Way before we used to try to look at the black and white TV back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that shape look like? You know what I'm saying? We used to have to try to imagine, you know what I'm saying, situations. And now it's bam, right there in front of you every single day. You can go on YouTube. I had to watch my son, right? And so y'all start watching y'all children, because they smart and they ain't fools. They ain't crazy. Because I seen Kingy, right? And I said, what the hell? You know when your child up to something, right? So I'll start walking towards the iPad, and you start. I said, oh hell no! What you looking at, player? Let me see that right there. Let me see that, son. Let me see that. And I looked, and I said, oh no, the devil is a lie. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I'm not gonna do that. So he was looking at videos of people twerking. I said, son, what you know about what you know? You ain't supposed to be looking at that yet. You know what I'm saying? But even when I was a kid, I remember, trying to listen to noises, or try to look at the TV, because we all want to grow and learn things, right? But back in the day, we had imagination, and right now, sex is wide open on display. So I mean, you did have kids getting pregnant early, but it's even more now. You know what I'm saying? Based off of the information that's being put out. So I do think these different lifestyles are being force fed, and I think laws are being changed for it to be a free for all. Technically, you know what I'm saying? Everything goes. There are no boundaries anymore. You know what I mean? The Matrix, there is no spoon, for an example. So we have to be careful about, are these our thoughts, or are these the narratives that are being pushed? Quay, you can go online right now and submit for something, and all of a sudden you get these cookies pop up, ads and everything else. You're like, what? How the hell they know I was thinking about that? So I don't know.
Sure. But I think that's part of the issue, right? So, and like I said, I always use, my younger days as an example, right? So one of the comments also that we got was basically, whatever lifestyle you choose is your choice. Who am I to judge? Like, I hear that a lot, right? So every time something happens, that could be, labeled as questionable, or whatever you want to call it. That's one of the first statements that come up is, I don't want to judge, right? But once again, I have to go back to my younger days. I didn't hear folks saying that. Like they was just calling it what it was. Hey, you ain't gonna be doing this, or hey, this ain't right.
Yep.
But nowadays, it's like we wanna, I don't know, we wanna tread lightly. We don't want to offend. Like I don't. Yeah, right. Like I don't know where that comes from, right? And I'm like, sometimes I wonder.
I can tell you, Quay, the government, cancel culture. If you say this, we're coming after you. If you tell the truth, we're going to shame you. We're not even comfortable being honest anymore because we're so afraid that we're going to get canceled. We're so afraid that we're going to get talked about, you know?
No,
So you can't even tell people the thing.
I get that, but sometimes I wonder, is that a part of the problem? Because I said, once again, nobody, what was that, Chloe? That may be Chloe.
A little bit of
Yeah,
feedback,
nobody speaks against anything anymore. It's like, so when we talk about this easy access and trying to make sure the kids are on the straight and narrow and basically keeping their little minds clean and so forth, like nobody is speaking against anything anymore. Like we just let everything ride.
right?
For not wanting to offend or this phrase not wanting to judge. And I'm just like, sometimes do you need to do some judging?
But I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying? Like if your kid did some stuff that was out of line, quote unquote, you about to judge somebody real quick. So I'm like, what's the difference? Go ahead, Shay.
levels though, right? Like when I say I don't want to judge, it's because that's a grown person making a grown person decisions. I don't have no parts in what they choose. The reason why I'm saying why I specifically mentioned the like pedophilia is because that's a child. They don't have the ability to make educated decisions for themselves. So those are the things that scare me. Now, everything that y'all are saying, I mean, you definitely got all the points with TikTok and anything else is complete foolishness. It's like, man, on here, like, dude, people the little boys had like circulars trying to see girls' boobs in the little breast bra.
I was in there like this.
Really go online right now and pull up hardcore porn. Anybody can without paying for it or nothing. Like, so you can access anything. So I don't know if there's really anything you can do, because I honestly think a lot of that has to do with technology and the way it's evolved. It's the same way while we used to have cassettes and CDs and now everything is just digital. So it makes it easy. It makes it more accessible, but it creates problems on the other end.
You had the magazines back in the day, Shay.
Right.
Yeah, the magazines and the VHS up under the bed in the shoebox.
Right.
Telling on yourself, man. Telling on yourself.
Hey, Quay, look what I found. Quay. Boy, you don't know about that right there. 10, page 42.
You crazy, man. You crazy.
Got to a Playboy, you made it. Because I'm talking about anything. They using anything.
I know what the scratch is. I'm good. Mm-hmm.
You crazy. Let me, Chloe, you want to say something? Is your mic good?
She was in deep in thought about what she was about to say.
No, I couldn't tell if the mic was doing something.
Go ahead, Chloe. She was thinking, she was like,
oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. No, because, I had both. I had like you guys on my one device, and so I'm like, I'm tripping. I'm hearing y'all multiplied. But anyway, I just want to say something quick about the judgment thing, right? Like, while we do have to be careful judging people, right? Because none of us are perfect. But I feel like that might be part of the problem. Like, I feel like, I think, Quay, you talked about how back in the day, there's just certain things we didn't do. And that's true. Like, people had higher standards. And I think it's because we held each other to those standards. Now we don't really hold each other to any kind of standard. Like, we're too busy saying we don't want to judge anybody. We're too busy saying, oh, don't judge. But that's really not what the Bible said. The Bible said, make sure you right first before you go judging anybody. It doesn't say you can't judge. It says judge righteously. So if you're going to judge somebody, you just want to make sure you're not out here calling somebody out when you had all kinds of skeletons up in your closet. So it's about judging righteously. If you have come to a certain level of maturity or understanding, and you see somebody out here tripping, and you like, oh look, nah, I should probably say something about that, because it's not always coming from a place of like where you just you're trying to be controlling or anything like that. Sometimes it's coming from a place of you really like care about a person and you're personally invested in their success, and it's coming from the right place. It's not always I'm trying to judge you because I want to take something away from you, or I'm just trying to tell you need to be doing exactly what I'm doing it how I'm doing it. It's not always about that. Sometimes it's, hey, I see you going down the road, and I think this road is not the right path. Like I'm telling you out of love. I'm not always just trying to condemn you. Like everybody that doesn't agree with everything that you do is not trying to send you to hell. They're not always trying to condemn you. It's not always about that. I think if we just take a moment to stop being so offended so quickly by everything that somebody say, you might be able to find the love in the correction, right? If a person has never truly had somebody look out for them or really love them like that, they'll take that correction, like that care and correction, and they'll take that and they'll think that that's attack. They'll think that's condemnation, and it's not condemnation. I care about you, and I'm saying this ain't healthy. It's not healthy. And a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now, it's not healthy. It's not mentally healthy. It's not emotionally healthy. Honestly, it's not even physically healthy. We should not be out here like this. Just because society has opened everything up, since when has society ever had our best interest in mind? And just because it's okay, societally okay, doesn't mean we need to be subscribing to it or jumping on any types of bandwagons. I just feel like we need to be thinking, we just really need to be thinking about what we're doing out here. There's a reason why, and I'm not saying, like, I think, Quay, you also talked about cheating and how that there's always been some degree of that. Nobody is saying that ain't true. But at the end of the day, we have to also look at the fact that the Black family was in a different place. Like the Black community was in a different place. When we had higher standards for ourselves, when we carried ourselves just in a slightly different way. Now, I'm not going to say that necessarily always reflected in the way we were treated by other communities. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying how we looked at each other and how we interacted with each other within our own community. It was just different. And I think we have to, at least consider that.
Hey, Chloe, do you remember this back in the day? Rated PG, PG-13, rated R, rated X. Ain't no damn ratings no more in 2020. Everything is just almost X. You know what I mean? It's like Shay was saying, everyone has free access to everything. There is no imagination no more. There is no, like, romance isn't taught anymore. Remember love songs back in the day? And they really used to sing about actually falling in love with a person. Now it's just, girl, take it off. I just want to fuck. Turn around, give me that. Grab him by the coochie. Everything, right? So there is no boundary. So back to the topic of relationship. I think some of that, and I could be wrong, and anybody can correct me because I'm not saying I'm right. I've never tried the polygamy lifestyle, so I don't want to judge that. But some of that come from hurt and pain. Can some of that come from not feeling worthiness? Could some of that come from dad not being home in the household? Could some of that come from you were hurt by someone and you don't think one person can really love you that way? I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just asking that question because sometimes, you feel some type of way when you get hurt. You know what I mean? Or could it just be, in our culture back in the day, this is what it was. And we had multiple partners. We had multiple things. And because of how America's conditioned us, this is the new standard. And we're trying to fit that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying which one is right and wrong or whatever. I'm just asking that question because I wanted to ask the sisters or the brothers. Matter of fact, all the brothers, y'all can answer that question. Why do you feel that you need more than one person? Why do you feel one person isn't enough to satisfy you? And if you feel that way, are you okay with her being that way? Because it just can't be your way. You know what I'm saying? It just can't be for you, right? Are you okay with her having multiple partners? Are you okay with her starting a family with someone else, or you know, living in another household? So let's say you have a polygamous relationship, right? Are you okay with your woman living in another household with another man with his children?
Right.
I'll wait.
Right. I mean, I feel like also like we have to consider like sometimes you put things in place and you kind of, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like sometimes you put things in place for control, right? If you're someone who's experienced heartache or pain, or you've had certain situations in your life, or maybe you had a dad that wasn't there, or maybe he left, or whatever the case may be, you might be feeling the need to want to protect yourself. I cannot speak for people. I'm just simply saying the things that I think about, right? Like you might feel the need to want to protect yourself or put certain rules or certain boundaries in place because you're like, I need this to protect myself. So instead of allowing people to get close enough where they can hurt me, I'd rather put these particular rules or standards in place for myself because that's what helps me, right? So I don't want to ever get too close to anybody. I don't want, you know what I mean? So I'd rather just, you and I are cool, we cool, like, you know, on paper, there's something about I like about you. I know I'm hearing about business arrangements and it makes sense, you know, on paper and that kind of thing. But, you know, we really not, it's not going to be like that with us. You know, you do your thing and I'll do mine. I don't know. I mean, personally, like that's crazy to me. Like, I just feel like, why even get married? Like you could, if you just want to do that, you could just do that. Like, it's not, why get married and why bring, you know, I mean, add that whole layer in there when it's not even, I mean, you guys may have already talked about this. I know I joined late, but to me, it just doesn't make sense when you can still have everybody you want to have, anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. And instead of, to me, because there's, you know, the sanctity of marriage and how it was ordained to be, you're tampering with that entire arrangement. And we have, I know we look at society today and we say, well, you know, the way this system looks at marriage, you know, and guys can feel like, well, I get slighted and this happens and divorce and all that, look what happens and all of that, right? We already know that they've taken the marriage arrangement as God ordained it and completely, you know, trashed it. Like, this is not what God intended, nor is it what he ordained and instituted, right? It's that's not that. But he still honors your marriage commitment because it was his institution. He created it. So he still wants man and woman to come together. That's the way he established it. That's the order that he established. So when you start messing with the sanctity of marriage, I just don't know how anybody believes that that's going to work out for them. I mean, this personal opinion, but I don't see how you can tamper with the sanctity of the institution of marriage as it was ordained by God and think that it's going to be okay. I understand we have laws of the land and they want you to buy this and pay for this and sign this and all of that. I get it. But and no, I don't necessarily agree with the arrangement as it's been tampered with or tweaked either. But at the same time, you know, I don't answer to this government. I answer to, you know, the Most High Yah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna do whatever he say do.
Chloe, you mentioned business arrangements, right? What's up, Joe? Welcome to the show, big dog. And
Hey,
maybe
Joe.
you can answer this for me too, Shay. You know, my question is, if Black people had received reparations, if we were allowed to have old money and old money wasn't a situation and we didn't have to rob Peter to pay Paul, if money was not an issue for us, would the business arrangement portion really be a issue when it comes to polygamy? Or because I know some people like, well, because of the business or because of the struggle or because of the financial situation or because of washing dishes and I don't have to wash dishes all the time or because I don't have to watch the kids all the time, lazy asses. Would that, I said it, would that be an issue? Would that really be an issue? Or is it an issue because of our culture and how we've been treated and we've been stripped of opportunities of wealth? Would that still be the same type of issue?
I don't think it's mostly Black people doing it. So
No, it's not.
honestly,
It's not. 100%. It's not. Like yeah, that part. I'm in California. That part. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of different cultures and people that participate in it. I was just saying, a lot of times, sometimes when I hear business arrangements, I kind of hear that from my people. So I can only speak from that perspective of, well, shoot, man, I'm only paying half the bills. Shoot, they paying for the Netflix. I get Netflix for free, dog. Is it that part? Well, they watching the kids sometimes. Well, you can have a babysitter. I'm just saying from that perspective, because I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things.
Go ahead, Shay. What you want to say?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the bottom line is sex. That's my short version of the answer. I really do. I think that for the most part, it's about having multiple partners. Now, they can talk about the business arrangement, whatever else they trying to put in. I just think they're excuses for having more sex with more different people. That's what I personally.
I agree with you.
Hold up,
I don't disagree.
Hold up.
I don't disagree.
Hold up.
I agree with you.
No, Shay just trying to go Detroit.
I
Now we ain't
don't
gonna do that,
disagree.
Shay.
I agree with that. I think it is about getting, having sex. I think it is. I mean, being able to have two people at one time and those different type of things or fantasies or whatever. So I think that plays you can't. Okay, would you do polygamy if sex wasn't involved? If there was no sex at all, would you still want to be polygamous or do polygamy?
No.
If there's no sex, would you want to do polygamy?
Too many people. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's the problem. Your relationship is complicated. Listen, 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the ones that still married, are they even happy? So I feel everything my sister over here, Chloe, was saying, talking about the sanctity and the marriage. I can agree with all of that, but the reality is people are not doing the marriage thing in that way, and that's even
right.
Supposedly going by the rules, but it's supposed to be like the ethical things that people think are supposed to be the case. If you're not actually doing that, and you're cheating or you're lying and doing all types of other manipulative things, then your marriage is not going to work anyway. So
why not just go be single? Why not be like, look, I'm sorry, this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Why don't you do the Kendrick Lamar and call your girl? Hey, what's good? Yeah,
come on, man. Come on. You know good and well that most of these cats, they got to get married because they need to look normal, man.
Sorry. Appreciate it, young boy.
They gotta look normal, man. So that's why they get married. So that's we got to keep that in mind, especially a lot of cats.
If you don't want to be there and you want to go, up the street and do what you do, you know what I mean? Why not just go do that? If you want to be Papa was a Rolling Stone, why not just keep it 100? Look, we've been arguing. This just really ain't been working. I'm not happy. You not happy. Why keep someone entrapped while you going to do your thing? That's just selfish and effed up. And then you come back, they ask you about it, and then you keep lying about the situation. Oh no, I ain't doing that. Really? So you want me to continue being faithful to you while you wilding and acting a fool? Shit, you don't think I want something new too? Hell yeah, I mean, let me go get my polygamy on. You feel me? But you want me to be faithful to you?
Go ahead, Joe. I see you want to say something. Go ahead, Joe.
You know what? It's hilarious because you guys remind me of something a customer told me over 35 years ago when I was working at Taco Bell, and I thought he was strange for saying this, but I see now he was probably ahead of his time. He made a comment to me saying that, son, I'm going to tell you something. The quickest way to ED, and it wasn't said ED at the time, the quickest way to ED is to get a marriage license. And that's what he told me. I never forgot this. Yeah, I never forgot this. And I think the reason he said this was because any relationship, and I kind of agree with him on this sense, that any relationship that requires a contract, and you having to sign some type of contract, is going to add pressure to the relationship. I think that, to me, I don't like the idea of a marriage license, because we're talking about open relationships. So I'm trying to stay on the topic.
No, you're good.
I never liked the idea of a marriage license, because I think, to me, a marriage license means you have to sign a contract to be with someone. And I think it just makes a relationship doomed to fail, in my opinion, because there's some states that don't require a marriage license, and some of the people in those states that don't require a marriage license, their relationships last longer because they're actually with the person they want to be with. And I also think that when you look at the history of marriage licenses in general, it was also formed, and this shocked me when I found this out, is that the marriage licenses were formed because they wanted to stop interracial dating, which I thought was very interesting because so basically in England, in London, I think it was in England, but it was in Europe, of course, in Europe, 400, 300 years ago. They formed that because they wanted to make sure that you were not going to interracially marry. And I've always said this, and I've always had a problem with this, that when you have to have, and you can look it up. I mean, I looked it up online many places, and I couldn't believe that it was there. And I used to work for a law firm, and I just find it interesting that if you have to have people together based on a piece of paper, and you have that, and if you want to be with that person wants to be with you, you shouldn't have to sign a piece of paper for it. And I understand the legalities of transactions and business and property and all that stuff. That's fine. But I just think that I just think that at a certain point, if you really want to be in an open relationship, I think that's number one, it needs to be discussed. That's one thing with your partner. And number two, I don't think I would be comfortable sharing someone I want to be with someone else in general. I just think that would be me. And look, I'm not married, never been married, didn't want to be married, and I'm fine. I'm cool. My thing is that when I see people want to get into, I mean, do you want to be married? I mean, if you don't want to be married, then why are you there? That's one thing that was said tonight, which I agree with. And if you agree on an open relationship, are you really in a relationship? Or are you just with a bunch of people? And again, I'm not judging. I just want to know. I just want to know. I mean, because to me, and listen, and by the way, since people brought up God and marriage and all that, and I think that's fine. Keep in mind that the King James Version of the Bible was formed because King James wanted to divorce his wife. That's why he made his interpretation of the Bible, because he wanted to divorce his wife. So when you have that,
what are you talking about, Joe? I
know exactly what I'm talking about because I did a play on this years ago, and we talked about this subject.
Go, Joe.
I think my thing is
wait. King James created his version of the Bible because he wanted his entire. He created the entire version of the Bible because he wanted to get a divorce.
Yeah, check it out. Trust me. It shocked the hell out of me. And I tell you, yeah, it's funny. I think it's hilarious. But you see, my point is that, again, marriage I think people now need to take the time to understand what they want if they want to be married. If they want to be married with someone. If they want to be married, fine, go for it. But if you don't want to be married, don't be wasting people's time. That's all I'm saying.
Go, Joe.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's really that simple to me. That's the way. Look, my parents are divorced. My brother's divorced. Okay. I've seen this. I've been in a courtroom during a divorce, and I can tell you that you really have to want to be married. That's my point.
Go, Joe.
It can't be this thing you're doing because society or someone is making you do it. All that. You have to want to be with that person. Not to use celebrities as an example, but Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, they are together. They've been together for years. They have children together, but they're not married. They don't believe in a marriage license. They don't want to get married, and they're together, and they're still together, unless something is going on behind the scenes we don't know about. But they're together because they want to be together. And I'm just gonna put it out there on the line. I mean, open relationship. I just think it's another excuse for wanting to go be with other people than the person you want to be with.
Hey, that's Shay's number one answer on Family Feud. Shay said, survey said, sex.
Now, I don't know, but let me tell you something. There have been with people that getting involved with other people that have nothing to do with sex. It could be an emotional thing. It could be a thing that they need someone to talk to and so forth. There are people that have emotional affairs. Yeah, it may lead to sex, but at the same time, most of it begins an emotional relationship. But 9 times out of 10, it's gonna end up in the sack. I get it. Okay, I get it. So
why are you in a relationship with somebody you can't talk to?
Well, that's my point. That's my question. Why even do it? Why do it?
Sex.
Yeah. Okay. Again, that's fine. I mean, like I said, most people are not. Look, all I'm saying is, If you want to be with someone and that's the person you want to be with, then then all this other stuff is not going to come into play. But I always find that people want to make these changes and make all these add all these amendments and innuendos to the relationship, because I don't think at the bottom line they want to be with who they want to be with. And I think that's just,
but I don't believe. Like
I don't know what else to say about it. I'm out. I mean, I'll just wait and let y'all talk, but go for it. That's all you have to say.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that part. Like, obviously, people don't really want to be in committed relationships. That's why they want to go. I agree with Shay. Like, I really do think sex is at the root of a lot of this. I hear business partner, and I'm not saying that there aren't some people that make a business, decision about it. Like, I'm not saying that at all. There probably is a group of people that say, hey, you got this, you bringing this to the table, I'm bringing this to the table. So it makes sense for us to come together. Like, I mean, probably when you get into those tiers of financial, like money, or when you get so high up in the waterfall, then it probably does start to become about a business type of arrangement. Because I know they like to keep it all in, they like to keep it in the family. So if, usually rich families like to come together, they marry rich. So in that sense, I can understand a business arrangement, right? I can get that at that level it happens. But I agree with Shay. I call BS on some of it. I think sex is a lot of it. I think greed is a lot of it. People selfish. They don't want to commit to one person. Now, on the topic, right, on the topic of like the marriage license and all of that, like I hear people, I hear people on that, right? So like, as already talked about that, like as marriage was instituted, there was no licenses or things that people had to sign. That's not the way God ordained it, right? But we live in this society. And if you're paying attention, we are very much property of this society. We are property of the government. So in order for us for them to track all of our movements, and when we make changes, when we come together, when you have one piece of property and another piece of property coming together, there has to be some type of written agreement. There has to be some type of legal document. And while I don't necessarily like the way this system is established or set up, I'm not a fan, but it is what it is. So if you're going to be a part of this society, then you sort of have to understand that this is just another layer of that and what that looks like. I don't think you run from the marriage arrangement because of that. And I don't think you look down upon the marriage arrangement because there is a contract that has to be signed. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have nothing. Everything you have to get in this society, you have to sign some type of contract. Even when you download Facebook as an app, they make you agree to terms. There are terms, every transaction that we make in this society, there are terms. So anybody trying to use the flimsy excuse of, well, I just don't like the fact that it has something to do with you having to sign off on anything. Well, then you don't have nothing, because in this society, you have to sign off on everything. You cannot do anything without signing your name on a dotted line, even when you spend your money. Even when you go to buy something and you use your own debit card on your own bank account, they make you sign your name in agreement. So don't get me wrong. It's not something that I like. It's not something that I think it should exist. But that's how the arrangement is in this society, because it's all we're all owned. It's all about exchange. You exchanging this for that. Like that's what it is. Everybody wants some type of agreement from you in some way, and that usually involves you signing your name. So I don't think that's necessary. We should necessarily look at that as a negative thing, because it's just a formality. It's just a formality. Like I said, you're downloading the app and they want your life story. They want who are you, where you're from, where you've been, where you're going. They want all that information from you. And you have to sign off on that. You have to agree. You have to say accept or cancel. You have to do that. That might as well be you signing your name. Everything, anything that you want to do in this society, you have to make some type of agreement. Even with God, we have a covenant through his son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. So everything is a covenant. Everything is an agreement. So if you think you're going to get away from committing to an agreement in any form for anything, then you probably might want to think that thing through. You need to commit. And if you're committed If you're really committed to that person, then it shouldn't matter if you have to sign your name. That to you should be a formality.
Hey,
But
Chloe,
if you are saying, that, well, I just got a problem with the fact, I mean, I love this person, I'll be with this person, but I just got a problem with the fact that I got to sign my name. I mean, like, you can feel however you want to feel on this. I'm just simply giving my feelings about it. If you really love that person and your plan is to really be with that person, then it should be nothing to a boss. Sign your name and go head on and do what it is and make it do what it do. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what somebody is making you sign, because you committed and in agreement with it anyway. You've already committed to it spiritually. You've already committed to it physically. You've already committed to it emotionally. So all you need to do now is just sign your name on a dotted line. It's nothing. It's nothing, right? So when people say that they have a problem with that, then I gotta go, why? Because you've already committed, right? You already want to be in this thing. So why? And I hate to say it this way, but because this society is a big business, unfortunately, you do have to sign your name in an agreement, because you're not going to go do anything. You're not going to purchase a car, right? There has to be you want a warranty on that thing, don't you? Okay, well, let me go ahead. Let me get this warranty signed. Yep, 30 day, 60 day, 90 day, lifetime. You want something. And unfortunately, I have to say it this way, but in this society, because they've made this such a business, you do have to have agreements. You have to have protections in place. Every party needs to be protected. The man needs to be protected. He needs to get protected how he needs to. That's why we got prenups. Woman needs to be protected how she needs to. We need to go head on with that thing. People talking about they don't want to sign nothing, yet you sign your life away every day, all day. So
but some states don't have a marriage license.
I guess for me, I don't understand why when it comes to this one thing, when it comes to stuff like this, right? When it comes to stuff like this, then all of a sudden people get smart. Oh, well, I don't know if I should sign my name because, XYZ, ABCD, LMNOP, but they don't mind signing their name on nothing else. They don't mind accepting nothing else. They will get a cell phone, don't read them terms. They'll buy a product, don't read the instructions. They don't care nothing about that. But then when it comes about this, all of a sudden people get, oh, I don't know about this. I just wanted to say, people, all of it sounds like a bunch of BS and excuses to me.
Okay.
If you ask me
I got a question. Let me ask this question, because I keep hearing something. I need to tackle this real quick. What is the female's issue with these types of topics? Like I keep hearing something from the ladies, and I need to understand what this is. What is the female's issue with these types of topics? Like I said, when we talk about open relationships or polygamy, I know these are two different things, right? But when these type of topics come up, I see all types of triggering popping off, and I'm trying to understand, what is that about? You know what I'm saying? We saying that we think it's all about sex, but then we giving up other reasons why it's going on, but we forget that it's about sex. We asking, it's just a matter of people being selfish. And we're like, no, we don't think it's selfish. So what is this really about? What triggers ladies so much about these topics? I want either one of the ladies, I want y'all to respond to that. Betty, I want Shay to respond to that. Go ahead, Shay.
I would say, I don't want to say trigger, but I mean, honestly, as a Black woman, I can only speak from that perspective. We have been demoralized, humiliated, walked on, stepped on, kicked, pushed, punched. So we are already going through PTSD. We need our men to support us the way that we support them. You ain't another person that's got my husband's back more than I do. Period.
You better talk, Shay.
Period.
Period.
With a T.
Do you know the level of hurt and disgust I would feel if I were to find out that this man was doing something with someone else after I got his back the way that I have it?
You better talk, Shay.
That is the problem. And if you can't really commit like what she is saying,
you should join.
There's no point in going any further. So I would say literally it is the pain It is the suffering that we have endured that has brought us to the point where when you say something like, you want to be in an open relationship, are you kidding? Are you serious right now? Like, there should be nothing more than you want than to just be with me, because I do for you what nobody else has or would.
Hallelujah!
Now, that man supports me in the same way. So I'm saying all of this to say, you know, there are people that have those relationships. There are people, and I know of too many strong, solid Black families, like the whole unit structurally together, the husband, the wife, the children, they have respect for each other. They look out for each other. I know way more of those than I do of the other. So while they talking about us and trying to make it like we don't have our shit together, that is not the case. We have our stuff together. I do not believe that the Black family is being destroyed. I think that's the narrative that they're trying to push. What should be brought out is how many educated sisters we got that's out here killing the game. We are the fastest growing, getting our degrees and getting our shit together. So why is it that we're still being treated like we're ignorant, like we don't know what's going on, and like we can't take care of ourselves and take care of our families? I don't, you know, that's my best guess for why it's triggered, because, you know, it does somewhere in a special place when you think about the fact that somebody basically saying that you're not enough, even though we do so much for our men and for our communities. Like,
well, hold on. But he not saying that though. What if he's saying that you are enough and I'm gonna bring in this other lady to help take some of the load off of you?
If you don't get your
okay. Tag me in, Shay. Tag me in.
Hey, Shay, let me flip. I got you, Kim. I got you this time. Turn the hell
Tag me in, Shay.
Let me put Black Jesus
Let
me put Black Jesus up here. What if Shay came home and Shay was like, "Don't worry about it. I got another nigga. He gonna help cut the grass. He gonna put gas in the car. He gonna wash the. He gonna cook. He gonna clean. He gonna do the."
I'm just messing with Shay. I was just messing with
it. We good. I got you. Look, you know what, Bae? I know you've been going to work. I know you've been giving it your all. And I know right now sometimes you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. So you ain't got to worry about that. I went and got John, Luke, and Jacob, and they going to take care of this. And I brought Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro over here just the same time to make sure we good. You ain't got nothing to worry about, boo. I got an allegiance. I got all 300 standing outside in my front yard. You ain't got to do nothing no more. And when you tired and you don't want to do nothing, you want to roll over, you don't want to lay in the wet spot, they got you.
But you know what? Everything that you said, my heart, just everything. But I would want that. And that is the difference. There's nothing in me that wants a whole bunch of other dudes. I am completely satisfied in any way that you could come up with. So therefore, it is necessary. And at the point where I'm not, and I feel like my needs are not being met in any of the ways that I feel like is relevant to my existence, then that's when we part ways. Now, I'm not even big on, you know, divorce but you have to do what you have to do. If it's not working, then you need to get out of it.
I'm a conversation though. Yeah, you have a conversation saying, "Hey, you look. I love you, but you're kind of dropping the ball over here. You're dropping the ball. We need to talk about this. What's going on?" You know what I mean? I'm just saying, not for you, Shay. I'm talking about for the ones watching. I'm talking about for the people in the back of the church that fell asleep, that wasn't listening to the sermon that you just gave. We're talking to them folks right there. And so for all the listeners, the reason why we're having this conversation is we're talking about relationship versus polygamy and all the ins and outs of that. So if anybody wants to join the show who has a polygamous relationship that has a better understanding of how that works, please come on here. For anyone who just has a strong value or just, hey, I'm married and this is all it is. Or anybody who's just single, that's just out there wild and having a good time, swiping right over everybody's profile picture on christiansingles.com, talking about they like long walks on the beach with the Lord. Come on the show. We want y'all conversation. We want to talk about it. We want to learn. Now, Quay, can you do me a favor? Can you bring up Peter's comment? Let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there. He brought some energy. Uh-oh. Can you read that for me, Quay? Can we talk to the people one time?
All right, Peter said, because women are emotional when it comes to sex, whereas men can go and have sex with multiple women but still love his woman.
Bullshit. Because I'm gonna say why, right? I'm gonna say why.
Thank you. Are you serious?
Because if I'm with a woman and it's just me and her, and I found out that she was messing with somebody else, bro, I'm hurt. I'm in my feelings. I'm getting my Carl Thomas playing emotional in every single love song. Iman, fuck what you said. You don't mean shit right now. I'm playing everything. You feel me? Because I'm gonna go through what I'm going through. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. Have I had my phase where I wanted to wild out and I was messing with different people? Yeah, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I never went through that. But I was single when I did that. But why would I be in a relationship if that's what I want to do? So I'm not gonna act like men don't have emotional ties, because guess what? You got some females out here that keep it gangster, that don't care, that's cool with it. Can you handle it? This is who I am. And a lot of dudes can't handle situations like that. And I'm gonna tell you why they can't. Because if they could, we wouldn't call them hoes. We wouldn't throw them under the bus. We wouldn't talk shit about them. We wouldn't be like, you a stripper, you ain't shit, bitch, call them everything up under the sun. And then when a man does it, he wouldn't be celebrated. Why is it when a man does the same thing, he's celebrated, but if a female does it, then we have to call her every derogatory term up under the book? If you so cool with it, if you ain't got no emotional ties with it, why are you so mad about it? Why are you so mad?
Let me grab Chloe real quick, then we're gonna start making rounds. Go ahead, Chloe.
But Peter, a lot of guys do feel that way, Peter. So I just want to shout you out for that comment, because that is true. Sorry, Chloe.
No, you're good. I just wanted to also piggyback off of, Shay answering the question about why women feel triggered. First of all, I got beef with the word triggered in this situation. Like, a woman having an opinion about this, or a strong opinion about it, does not necessarily mean that we're triggered. I just know I know this terminology that people use today. I get it, I understand that. But I don't understand necessarily why we got to be triggered because we're very opinionated about it. I think for me, we also have to remember too, like, this is not traditionally, I'm just going to say this, right? I obviously don't know every Black person in America, nor every Black person who has ever lived. So I'm going to speak in general terms. So don't nobody attack me. I'm literally speaking in general, okay? But this whole polygamy, this multiple partner polygamy swinger, this whole thing, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this was not a us thing, right? This was not a stemmed from, created from our community, the Black community, okay? I'm not saying we're not adopting it. Obviously, we're adopting it. I understand that, but it wasn't born or bred from us. So it's funny to me how Black men and women, but since we talking about the women being triggered, I'm gonna speak on the Black man. Black men adopt these things that really weren't for them, is not of them, and is not even the way we were really born and bred. They already were snatching you out of your home. They already were separating you from your wives. They already had your wives raising your sons and your daughters on their own. See, they already was doing that. So now for you, Black man, to want to perpetuate that, when you now have a choice whether or not you can stay or not. Yeah, if you want to call it triggering, okay, so you could say that's triggering, because this is a narrative that they gave you, right? Oh, now you make a certain amount of money, or maybe now you have a certain amount of prestige for yourself. So now you feel like you can do certain things that maybe you could do before because of your financial situation. I see a lot of dudes thinking that, right? Like, if they make more money, then they can all of a sudden they have different rules. That's once again not a Black community thing. That is, we know where that came from. That's not from us. But y'all want to adopt that thinking. You want to adopt that mindset in a world where they're not going to consider you the same. They don't factor you the same. You want to try to move in the same way, but that's really not even how this society is constructed. So it's crazy to me that you guys now want to take these things that were, without a better way to say this, that were born of your oppressors in a nation of your oppression, because you're still being oppressed, and you want to adopt these things, and you want your Black women to accept it and be okay with it and not be triggered by it. It's like, I need Black men to stand on their own too. I need you to stand on your own too. Just because this is something that society is telling you is the thing now, this society is not, this was not born and bred for you. You honestly are in the land of your oppressor. So I don't understand why you would even want to adapt those beliefs, why you would even want to adapt those customs, why you would want to, subscribe to those traditions. Like, that's crazy to me. And then you're having the nerve to say to a Black woman, why you triggered? Like, what, dude? Why you want to do what your oppressor does? Like, what makes you think that's the right thing to do? Like, do you not understand where some of this is coming from? Yeah, do you not understand where this is coming from? They raped your Black women while they had white women as wives. Of course they think nothing of it. Of course they think it's okay. And now you want to adopt that same mindset. Like, it's crazy. It's like you signing up to do the same evils that were done to you. It's crazy to me. Why? That's crazy to me.
I think we do got to clarify, though.
We got to do a show on that. What Chloe just
I'm sorry. Maybe I went in a completely different direction. But what I'm saying is, you want to ask why it's triggering. There's so many reasons why it's triggering. Okay, I understand that's not necessarily the conversation we're having tonight, but for me, it goes deeper than that. Like, there's so many reasons why this whole conversation is triggering. It's like people got to pull their head out their behinds and like really look at what we're talking about, right? I know on the surface we look at it as sex, and that's just surface stuff. When you really pull back the layers of this thing, it gets deeper than that.
Yeah, but I think the first thing that we have to consider is, a lot of these open relationships and these, these titles of polygamous and all of that, a lot of these things, are tied to some type of culture at some point. So we do have to realize that. I do know that some of these things do take place in African culture. I know some of these things do take place in European culture. So this is not just a oppressor culturistic item here. Basically, I said this spreads around just outside of an oppressor scenario. So I understand exactly what you're saying, but to your point, this does go deeper than that. So I do agree with you on that. I want to go to Peter because I know you came on to get something in. Let me hold on. She has some noise. Go ahead, Peter.
All right, so I can't remember exactly what King said. I think something about like men not being emotional or something. I can't remember.
Well, he was saying, I think he was saying that he would still be emotional if he found out that his lady was out doing her thing and he didn't know about it. He would still be emotional about it.
Yeah, and that's because, like how I said, so. Like we both deal in like different currencies. Like I'm saying, like a man, like he's the provider, and he looks after the family, and he keeps a roof over like the woman's head and its kids and stuff like that. And then women, for the most part, like they provide their youth and beauty. So I mean, that's basically how it works. I mean, like imagine like there's no money around or anything like that. Like the man would be out, he'd be out hunting wild animals, bringing it back or whatever. He'd be building up the cabin or the hut or whatever, making sure his family stays safe, fighting off predators, like all this other stuff. And then the women, they bring the feminine nature, the nurturing, Like they bring all that, the bedroom fun, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that men just go out or whatever and they just like have sex like wild animals or something like that, and that they can't be emotionally attached to women. What I'm saying is that like with most men, like they're able to set aside their emotions or whatever, um, but they're still able to like love that one that they have at home. Like a man can go out or whatever. Like I'm not advocating this or anything like that, but like a man can be like, well, my girlfriend, like she hasn't given me any in like the past like 2 or 3 months. I still love her, but in order to save this relationship, I mean, I'm going to need to satisfy myself somehow. And he can go out or whatever. He can go out to the wild and he can have his fun or whatever, but he can still come back and love that woman.
Man, you about to start something, bro. Shay ready to get at you, bro.
What the
I
is he
am
talking about?
triggered right now. Let's bring back
All right. And then,
Wait, don't be triggered now. Don't be
I'm ready.
triggered. Don't be triggered.
all right, go for it.
Oh, we have to go back to slavery.
It's like all things it was like every second we're getting worse. I'm gonna need you to not there to be pretty. What?
Oh,
What?
Jesus.
I'm going to need you not to, what?
I'm gonna need you not to say that women are there just to be pretty and to provide your sex for you. What
No,
are
I
we?
didn't say that. I
You
also said feminine nature. I said they're the nurturers or whatever.
you asked
They
that,
raise.
but you started with women are there to be pretty, and then you said we're there to provide sex for you.
I said youth and beauty.
And
That's what men.
but
That's what men look for.
I'm-
They look for youth and beauty.
is it? I mean, is that the only thing? So you think
Oh, shit.
so and so uneducated and so just because that's what you're basically saying. That is a very low bar and standard, is that she just needs to be pretty and can provide you sex. I mean,
No, I said men look for youth and beauty.
okay.
Jesus.
You don't see anything wrong with this, sir?
I think you're digging a little bit too deep into like just like the pretty part. Just like I think you're digging too deep into
No,
that.
I think
You didn't
have
give her anything else to work with.
nice women to the point of being nothing more than a token figure. You are not trophy wives. We are not something that you just get dainty and that you can sleep with when you feel the urge. It doesn't give you some for a couple of weeks, not to satisfy your poor urges. You need to be an adult male with enough capacity to be able to deal with the situation and communicate with the person that you're with. If you don't feel that your needs are being met, you don't go out with another person because you don't are met. That is some childish, 10th grade
I don't.
bullshit.
What I'm saying is a lot of men do or will in order to save the relationship. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I do. I'm saying that I can't
They
hear.
do that. That's not saving your relationship, because if you're a liar and a cheater, your relationship is trash.
I'm quiet.
I mean,
Facts.
yeah, I agree on that part. But also, I mean,
Shit.
sometimes
Well,
a man will do that just to like save the relationship and
but
to save his
here's
face.
the lie in that. Dude. Here's the lie in that, bro. If you really love the person, love would have kept your ass at home. You don't love that person, bro. You're just using love to continue getting what you want. Love is just a password that you put into the computer to get the access to the person.
Mhm.
That's not real love. Real love doesn't make you go sleep with another woman. Real love doesn't make you go cheat. Real love will be like, well, you know what? We need to talk about what's going on. I'm frustrated, but hell, it's just me and you, and I ain't going nowhere. We just gonna figure it out. And if I gotta go sleep on the couch, beat my meat, whatever it is, then it is what it is.
But at the same time, like we're looking at it from two different perspectives. So if two people are married or whatever, a man and woman are married or whatever, I mean, the man is usually like women don't marry down for the most part. Women don't marry down. Like
What do you mean
they
by
want
that?
someone that makes makes more money than they do.
So what does
And
that mean?
also,
What does that mean? How,
that
okay,
means
let me
like
let me
that
ask
means
you a
if she
direct
makes
question.
that
Let
means
me
if
ask
she
you.
makes that means if she makes like $30,000 to $40,000 a year,
Corey, you
then
got a
she
lighter?
automatically wants her man to make like $60,000 to $100,000 a year.
Corey, you got
Okay,
a lighter?
so
Peter,
let me
hear
ask
about
you a
Women
very
don't marry down
specific question.
for the
Let
most
me
part.
ask you a specific question, Peter, because let me ask you a specific question because I know where you're getting all of your data from. So let me ask you a specific question to see if you will answer this or if you're going to give me another Kevin soundbite. So
Yes,
specifically,
Erica.
first of all, let me just say this. Just because a woman makes less than you does not mean that you are marrying down. You do not value a woman based off of
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, Erica, put Erica's comment back up there again.
Mhm.
So do men marry down? You said yes.
Yes,
So
but I don't mean
if a
financially.
man,
I don't mean financially.
first of all,
I
you
mean
have to
that
clarify. You have to clarify for me what you mean by men marrying
what I
down.
mean
Would you
by marrying
clarify
down
that for
is
me?
that what I mean by marrying down is that men they settle for less things than what a woman settles for.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pause
So
you right there.
women they have that whole big list or whatever, but
He's
on a
talking about the
man's
list.
list, it's
He's talking
usually
about
just like
women
2
have
or
a
3
list.
things.
He's
But
talking about
women have
women have a
this
list.
whole big list that you have to be 6 foot tall, 100 figures, dress nice, be handsome, all this other stuff. Where men they don't have this large list.
And you
They just
feel,
Peter,
have
hold
to
on,
be
hold on,
Peter, that's
one
a
second.
very
Wait a minute,
1980s. That's a very 1980s. I'll
guys.
just go back to the 80s. That's a very 1980s mentality that you're just speaking right now. And I would
Okay,
say this, just because I gotta go, but I gotta say this, man. Bottom line is this, and my bottom line is what I said earlier. The bottom line is that you're either going to be, and this back to open relationship topic, you're either going to be with this person, you want to be with this person, or you don't want to be with this person. If you're with someone that you want to be with, all this other shit doesn't even matter, in my opinion. All this stuff, I mean, and look, I brought the marriage license only as an example because some states don't have marriage licenses. That's all I'm saying. Because if you want to be with that person, yes, the piece of paper shouldn't matter. But guess what? White people years ago put this piece of paper in place so they didn't want white people married outside their race. That's why it's there. Which goes to Chloe's point about the fact that some of this stuff we've indoctrinated to our own lives, which we shouldn't, in my opinion, but it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, but my whole thing is okay. Hang on. My thing is this: you're either going to be in the relationship with the person you want to be with, or you're not going to be in the relationship with the person you want to be with. I understand all this about men want to go out and spread their spawn and all that stuff, but when you're with someone you want to be with, all that other stuff shouldn't really matter.
Yes.
And I don't know
And I
about marrying
completely
down. I
yeah.
don't know about marrying down and so forth. I mean, because you're trying to say that, we'll take, some men would just take what's available and that's it, and that's all they
They will
want.
look around. Like why is
But
OnlyFans,
yeah, okay.
why
Well,
is OnlyFans popular?
look,
They
some men may not have any standards. That's fine. Okay,
a lot of
you
men
do
nowadays.
what you want to do. All I'm saying, I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying, if you're a man, you find something, fine. If that's your relationship, that's how you want your relationship, fine. I just think that in terms of this conversation, which is about open relationships, I don't think that we should take this thing as you really have to have the conversation, an adult conversation with another person who you want to be with and talk about this subject. And if you feel an open relationship is right for you, fine, go ahead and do it. But if you're not comfortable in that, and yet then the relationship, as far as I'm concerned, is over because you don't have a relationship any longer. Then all of a sudden, if you just want to be with other people, regardless of what the animalistic, biological, blah, blah, is out there, if you don't want to be with that person, then just don't be with that person. Don't waste each other's time.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm trying to get to. So
plain and simple. I still got a question I wanted to ask, but I never got a chance to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt like he's good digging down a deeper hole and he needs to,
Plain and simple, if you think about it, one of the main reasons why men get married, let's just face it and get out there, is to have consistent sex. Let's just get that out of the way, okay? That's one of the main
Wow.
reasons why men go get married or whatever, right? So
Okay.
let's pretend like that gets taken away out of the relationship, right? So does a man
I mean,
say,
this
like,
screw
you know
masturbation,
what?
but go ahead.
Talking like somebody who has never been married before.
Like, you know what? Like, should I not just go to work or something like that? Like, I'm just going to stay in. I'm not going to provide for my family. I'm not going to do any of that stuff.
Peter, have you ever been married?
No.
Have you ever been married? How many people around you are married?
No, I've
And
seen a
not your
lot.
parents, not your parents or grandparents.
Yeah, I've seen
Nobody
a lot.
older. Your friends. How
Yeah.
many of your friends are married?
A bunch.
Okay. And you mean to tell me that they tell you that the main reason why they got married was so that they can have sex? I'm talking about your friends, not the
No,
people
see,
that Kevin is
you're
telling
really
you about.
sticking to that. I'm
Do
saying
they
that's one of
tell
the main
you
reasons.
because you're saying it? So see, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
you brought it up.
Every time you make a statement and somebody says, well, this, that, or the other in rebuttal to your statement, you say, well, I don't want you to focus on just that, or well, I don't want you to, and I personally feel that the reason why you do that is because you are literally spewing almost to the exact letter every single word I have ever heard Kevin Samuels, image consultant turned relationship coach turned used to be spiritual singles church consultant. Like, I mean, this is crazy to me. And this is the thing, like, I'll say this, like, have been some things that this gentleman has said that I agree with, but there's also been a lot that this gentleman has said that come from a place where even he himself has said he himself has needed counseling. And I feel like you guys have to just be very careful about taking everything that this man says and regurgitating and spitting it out like a dictionary. At the end of the day, I know a lot of married people too. Okay. And if you think you're going to marry somebody to get consistent sex, one, you're going to be disappointed. Let me just go ahead and squash
No, I'm
that
just
for you
saying
right now.
that's just part of it.
Second, you make a big error in judgment when you start to simply reduce the exchange between a man and a woman for financial. When did financial become such a huge factor? When I would say this as a man,
When all the women
Peter,
start
as a
wanting
man,
six-figure guys.
Peter, oh, you said plenty. I'm going to finish this. As a man, personally, I don't just look at you as a financial provider. Obviously, I do want you to come to the table as you are the man of the household with income. Obviously, you need to come to the table with income. But at the end of the day, you provide more for the family than just financial. That's why when you're not there, even if I'm a six-figure woman, and the man is not there, there is a breakdown in the structure of the family. You know why? Because the man brings more to the family and is more essential to the structure of the family and the foundation of the family than just what he's bringing financially. Just like a woman is more important to the structure of the family and what she brings to a family structure than just how youthful she is and how pretty she is and how well she know how to wash dishes and stay in the kitchen and take care of the house. I'm not saying those things are not all important, just like I'm not saying a man don't need to come to the table with financial stability. But what I'm saying is there is more that goes into these two very unique roles in the family structure than just those things that you are simply reducing them to. Now, I know
I'm not just reducing
that
it
you
to all
don't
that.
believe.
I'm
I
not
know
reducing it
that, I
to
know
all
that
that.
you,
Give Peter a chance to clarify, please.
I'm
Yeah,
not reducing it
please,
to all that.
please. Go ahead.
Hey, wait. Mute everybody, Quay. Please, James.
No, I'm not reducing it to all that.
Please go, Peter. No, not Peter. Let Peter go. Go, Peter.
No, I'm not reducing it to all that. Like,
No, just clarify what you're saying though. go back to your point, because you're not the only person that feels that way. Go back to your point and clarify what you mean so we can understand.
Like which point? Because I made a few of them. Which one specifically?
Any of them will work. Just any of them.
My name is Tori. I'm sitting next to financial.
We can read that out loud.
Yeah. Like
is he married?
yeah, 80%.
My bad. I got it.
80% of marriages are filed by women. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got it, man. My name's Tori. I'm sitting next to King right now. Marriage became financial since alimony existed, and since women get half of the money when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Also, pair that with the fact that 51% of marriages end in divorce, and 75% of those divorces are filed by women. Yeah,
Yes.
sounds like a bad decision.
Yeah.
Okay, Tori.
And then that's where
clearly not
I'm
married.
also saying that men try to save their relationships or whatever, and they might just sleep with another woman or whatever because she's not providing the bedroom fun anymore. Maybe she decided to sit on the couch and eat like a little bit, like she just started like eating like crazy or something like that.
Go, Peter. Go, Peter.
Huh?
Tell your truth, Peter. Tell your truth.
Well, I
You
mean,
can-
it's true because let's face it, like no man like walked up to a woman that's a stranger or whatever in Walmart and was like, "Damn, I wonder what type of education she has." He walked up to her because he's like, "Damn, she looks cute or whatever. Like, I want to talk to her. I want to get to know her."
Go, Peter. Just keep going. You're good, bro. Go. You're in a safe space. Go.
All right. Joe, what was that part that you said earlier? Oh yeah, never mind. Both with the men and women being in relationships or whatever, like they shouldn't be together. Like I totally agree with that. Like they shouldn't be together. But we go back to what your friend said or whatever about marriage and stuff like that.
He's talking about marriage license. I want to be specific on that, but go ahead.
Wait, Peter. Go ahead and continue about what you're
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Relationships and women needing to be pretty and to be there, for sex and everything. Just go. Just let it all out. Go.
Hold on, let me get this comment, man. Cause I said you causing problems, Peter. Erica said maybe.
Wait. No, please. Just please.
No, I gotta read this, man. Maybe she said maybe if you're not getting any after 3 months, it's you, not her.
That's a fair point. Now, go ahead, Peter. Please go, Peter. Just get it all out.
Or maybe she crossed the finish line or whatever, got that marriage ring or whatever, and maybe that was all that was about, and then she just quit trying to.
Wait.
That does happen. That does happen.
And then
That does happen.
Wait.
That does happen.
Please.
Hold on.
I'm not talking all women, but I mean 80% of women file for divorce.
You're gonna have to mute me.
All right. We got to do this.
Wait,
okay.
please let him go.
No, I gotta
And
let him
also-
sum it up, man. I'm trying to keep this. I'm trying to keep this time in order,
Just
man.
have like a whole bunch of multiple partners.
No,
or whatever.
we gotta go to overtime
Also,
for this.
another part is that a master key that unlocks many locks is a master key, but a lock that unlocks to any key is a shitty lock.
Okay. Hey, Quay, mute everybody. Quay, just mute everybody, please.
We're gonna stop right there, man. We're gonna stop right there. We gotta get ready to close. We gotta get ready to wrap, man. We past time. We gotta get ready to wrap, brother. We gotta wrap.
Wait, this is prime time. Please do not throw in the towel. Please let him
We
go.
gotta wrap. We gotta
Hey,
wrap,
give me
man.
something
We gotta
else.
wrap. We gotta wrap. Go ahead, Los. We at that time, man. Go ahead and wrap, man.
I have to run, guys. Before he goes, I have to run. This is a great conversation. I had a fun. Yeah, I'm gonna keep me up. I have to go to work, and this is gonna keep me up and work all night. I'd say that's why I'm gonna be laughing all night at work. So,
Take it easy, Joe. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Take it
man.
easy.
All right. Go ahead, Los. We gotta wrap, man. You muted. This guy. Let me get into these closing statements. I see Los over here having a breakdown. Let me get into these closing statements.
He got me crying.
Go ahead, Los. We gotta wrap. We gotta wrap, man. We gotta wrap.
Oh shit! Help me, Jesus. Hold on. Oh, Peter. Jesus, help him right now, Father God. I just gotta pray. Touch his heart, Lord. Touch his heart,
We're
Jesus.
gonna take these closing statements, man.
Oh,
We
yeah.
gonna let Shay go first.
Shay, go, Shay. Please help me. Give me some. Look at Shay face.
And hit
Hold
by
on, let me mute him real quick. Go ahead, Shay. Go ahead.
Mr. Peter, you are exhausting. Like, I can see why you feel the way you feel, because whatever harmed you, broke you, it's deeply affecting you. If you feel that little respect for women and that little respect for yourself as a man, because the bottom line, it is a two-way street. You are both supposed to be putting forward your best selves and working together for a common goal. And therefore, who's making the most money should not be what's most valuable to you in your relationship. I hear every brother saying over I respect it, and I was gonna say and mention that earlier about the fact that why a lot of men feel the way they feel is because of the fact that you do have a financial cost or responsibility to divorce. That is true. But if a woman made more money, she would have that same financial responsibility and cost. Now, so
That's why they don't marry down.
that's your opinion, sir. I know several people who make more money than their husbands and their relationships work. So it does not have to be the way that it works. It works if you have two people that understand the common goal and they treat their money as their money. So if your relationship's not going to work, that doesn't have anything to do with that. These are separate issues and you're trying to treat it like it's all connected. You need to figure out how to communicate and respect women, because at this point you show very little respect just for women in general when you have basically said that they're just pretty faces to sleep with. But
I think you're taking it out of context. I'd like to also note that I have 6 sisters and a mom. So, yeah.
none of that makes it. That's just like when white people say I got a black whatever. It doesn't mean anything. You have females in your family. Who doesn't, sir? Everyone does. So that doesn't mean anything. The bottom line is you will never have anyone that's of any substance if you don't start respecting women. That's going to be your homework. So you go work on that, figuring out how to talk to women, figuring out how you should approach women, and then maybe you'll have a different idea about what it is supposed to be in a relationship. As for the open relationship, I'm totally with Joe. Bottom line is if you can't do it, then don't do it. Like, I don't understand why people get in these situations. They don't, just why? Just
I
don't
understand,
like.
but not everyone holds up their part of the deal. I mean, sometimes men don't hold up their part of the deal. Like, I understand. Like, I completely agree. Like, those two should go into it or whatever, into a relationship, and they should be totally about each other. But let's just be honest that, like, everyone's human. Not too many people nowadays like hold up their part of the deal.
I mean, again, I'm gonna disagree with your assessment. I don't know who you know or who these people are, but a lot of the people that I am around, stable, committed relationships, and they're doing just fine. All different monetary levels, all different types. It does not matter if with the person you should be with.
I have to disagree with that financial part, though. Like, I
I
mean,
can
yeah, for the most part, like,
you
I
hold
mean
so much
that,
stock, but
huh?
that shouldn't be the most important thing. You're holding too much stock
It
in the money.
it shouldn't be, but it really is nowadays. Like, that's a lot of the reason why there are divorces.
Okay. No, we'll leave it at
It
that. No,
shouldn't
we
be, but
appreciate
it
that.
is.
We appreciate your closing, Shay. We appreciate that, Peter. You wanna do your thing, Los?
Pete, do you got any closing remarks, Bo?
Um. Oh no, I just how do I say it?
Say it like you always said. Just be you.
Like, I don't believe in like really having sex with a whole bunch of multiple partners and all that other stuff. I'm just trying to like give like the really hard facts that people really don't want to say.
Okay. Sure. Quay?
You know what, man? I don't know. Like I said, I ain't a fan. I don't support it, man. I don't support it. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't support it. So, like I said, I know cats do what they do, but you know, monogamous is my route. That's where I'm at. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I'm with you in the monogamous vote. I couldn't do the, what is it called again? I can't even think of what it's called right now. Peter got me going.
Polygamy.
Polygamy and open relationships.
I couldn't do the polygamy in the open relationship because one, it would be unfair for me to have a desire and not allow my woman to have the same desire. You know what I mean? I think that's bias and I think that's selfishness. So because I know I'm not emotionally built like that, I just love one person. And if I'm in love with that one person, that's what I'm in love with for me. And I feel like if love can truly conquer all things, then you can put in the work to solve anything. You know what I'm saying? But it takes two people to put in that work. You know what I mean? Is it easy? No, but neither is life. Nothing in life that you want to do is easy. The success you want, the lifestyle you want, the children and how you want to raise them, everything that you do takes work, including a relationship. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get so comfortable with just wanting the easy pass, or sometimes people do just see the money. You know what I mean? I won't act like money or security, because sometimes women do want security. Women do want to be able to know that they're going to be financially secure, or taken care of, or protected, or covered. So I do kind of understand slightly where you come from. But I do think, Peter, to you, I think you speak from a hurt perspective. I think you speak from a lot of pain that you've possibly been through. But for me, I choose monogamy for me. That alone, I think Shay had brought up some valuable points, and I think Chloe had brought up some valuable points. You would never want a woman to analyze you in that manner, Peter. You wouldn't want a woman to analyze you the way you just spoke about ladies. And the fact that you do have sisters and a mom and everything else, you kind of put them in the same box because they are women. And I don't think you would want any man to treat any of your sisters or your mother in that type of fashion. I don't know if you would be.
I'm not
okay.
saying that's all they bring to the table or anything like that. I'm just saying that like those were the topics that we were touching.
No. Those were topics that you touched. Those were statements that you made. And when you do that on this type of platform in front of the type of audience, and those are your real feelings, those are things that we have to just be able to address in a respectful, brotherly manner. And as your brother, because I love you, I got to be able to tell you the truth. If you just sit there and say she's just a pretty face and she's just good for the bedroom, bro, that's disrespectful and that's foul as hell.
But I also said that they bring they're also nurturing and some other stuff too.
But just the fact that you just had to point that portion out, you know what I mean? Or just people get married for consistent sex. That made no sense at all, because you can have consistent sex without being married. You can have a cuddy buddy. You could have multiple people that you're messing with while you're single. You can have consistent sex with just someone that you know that you're cool with without being married. So I don't think people just get married just for consistent sex. I think that is
Most men don't have the opportunity of like having multiple partners, especially nowadays.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, what you're saying, like most men don't have that opportunity. Like,
why wouldn't there?
There are men that are like 21 years old that are virgins.
That's possibly because probably one, by choice, two, how they carry themselves, and three, if they have enough confidence to go out there to talk to a woman like that. I think sometimes when you analyze a situation, you analyze it as the man is the victim all the time. And I don't never hear you talk about the men's flaws and the things that the brother has to, what he's bringing to the table and what he can be doing better from his perspective. I hear you analyze a woman and break down a woman in a disrespectful manner, but then I never hear you talk about us and what you're doing to that situation. If she doesn't want to be intimate with you for 3 months, well, what type of conversations are you having? How are you taking care of her? Are you doing your things? Are you doing the same things that you did in the beginning to get the same type of sex that you were getting in the beginning? Or did you drop the ball? Or are you not showing up the same way? Why is it that you expect for someone to show up for you in the bedroom, but you don't want to show up for them? So it's a two-way exchange, and I think that you're leaving out the male portion of the exchange.
I agree with that, but also, like, things have definitely drastically changed in the past like 10 to 20 years. How men and women kind of like interact or whatever sometimes. So with that portion, like I mean, let's just say it outright. Like, a lot of women are becoming more masculine, and a lot of men are becoming more feminine.
I would agree with that narrative. I would agree that that has happened, but a part of that is because men aren't being men. Men aren't stepping up to the plate doing what they're supposed to do for a woman. And I think sometimes we forget about certain things that women have been through, and they had to step up to the plate. If you have no one to be your covering, then you have to cover yourself. It's the same thing like when you look at history, and when men went to war, there was no one at home. So women had to step up and get jobs. Women had to step up and elevate to be able to take care of themselves because no one was there. So if there's no one covering them, what is she supposed to do? Just be a damsel in distress and do nothing? So I think it's part of that is our fault. A lot of it's our fault as men of not protecting them, of not giving them the space to be feminine, or just taking advantage of them and thinking that they're only a pretty face and they're only good for the bedroom. So if we
No.
go out into the world treating women like that, like a Donald Trump thing, grab them by the pussy, why wouldn't she be? Why wouldn't she? That's robbing her of her femininity. You know what I mean? That's taken from them. And then you wonder why she's so hard, or she's so guarded, or she's protected. Probably because she's tired of messing around with fuck dudes. She's probably tired of people treating them like they're a piece of meat, or people who don't respect them, or people who don't see them as their equal. So she's probably fed up with that. So that's why she probably has an attitude. She probably has an attitude because you don't respect her as your equal. So I mean, if you were treated that way, as Black people, we get tired of how we're treated in this country. So how can we complain as Black people, but then we treat our women in the same type of manner? That don't make no sense.
Yeah, but I'm not just saying all that, like that women are just sex objects. Huh?
You kind of did though, and even though that's why I was cracking up or whatever else, and it was unprofessional for me to laugh like that. So but hey, shit, it was funny. I'm just keeping 100. It was funny, But now, out of love, I want to have a conversation of the accountability portion, because as men, we have to respect our women. Period. We have to. And if we don't respect them and they're out, if a person's always being disrespected, you don't think that they're going to come from a perspective of being defensive or tougher or whatever else? No one wants to continuously be pushed around or talked about or kicked or disrespected. So of course they're going to get tough skin. Of course they're not going to be soft. They don't feel safe to be feminine because it's been stripped from them.
Yeah, I agree with that aspect. I feel like there are other aspects too, alongside like social media and feminism. But yeah.
Well, we'll say that for another show. I'm going to go ahead and do my closing remarks on this. Your lifestyle is your lifestyle. I do believe that you can't throw rocks at a glass house. You know what I mean? I think you do need to make sure that you have your ducks in order. And I do think if you are going to talk to someone to give them advice or whatever else, you need to give them advice out of love. You don't need to do it in a demeaning way or judgmental way or a way as if you're better than someone else. I do believe in different cultures, they had different styles of relationships. And I'm not saying which one is right. I can only say which one I can handle in my capacity. So I'm not trying to come out here and be disrespectful to someone whose relationship does that work for them. Because I've been in monogamous relationships and it hasn't worked. You know what I mean? People have been doing polygamy and it has worked for them. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you're wrong and I'm failing in my situation. That makes no sense. I think people are happy where people are happy at. I do think there has to be great, clear conversation. I do believe there has to be clear boundaries. I think there have to be clear understanding because you're going to have children involved in everything else. So to have the clarity of that. But this show is for us to talk about these tough conversations, even if people have a different perspective, like Peter brought a different perspective. But we want to make sure that we're respectful in that. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful at all, but that's how he perceives things. You know what I mean? So that's what this show is all about. It's about getting other people up here to have difficult conversations in a respectful manner. So that way we can continue to grow and become more solution oriented. So we would love for you guys to join us. We would love, it doesn't matter your color, race, age, gender, whatever. You know, we would love for you to come on our show and give your opinion, because your voice matters. Your opinion matters. And the only way to grow is to learn something new or to hear a different opinion from someone else's perspective. So I want to shout out my boy, Quay Price. He always stays sharp. He always stays ready. You know what I'm saying? He got the James Harden beard going on right now with the Steve Harvey edge up. You know what I'm saying? He got the nice tie on. Two Sons Juice is doing real well. You know what I'm saying? The ring light got him over there shining. You feel me? So I want to give my brother a big salute. And Quay, I have nothing but the uppermost respect for you, bro. You know, I know your story. We've been kicking and rocking a long time, and I understand why you chose polygamy. Not polygamy. I understand why you chose being monogamous. I understand how you have nothing but respect for the word and how you honor your wife and how you treat your wife. And I appreciate you doing that, bro, and being just a man of God, being a man of honor. I just want to salute you and give you your roses while you're alive, bro, and say I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Because from a Peter standpoint, not everybody can do that. And marriages have failed and things have fallen through the cracks. But what I can say is, Quay, that you've stood the test of times, and I appreciate you, and I'm really proud of you. You know what I mean? I want to give you a big
appreciate that. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
So that's our show. We want to make sure that you guys like, subscribe, share, bring a friend, join the platform, support us. We'll get donation links up. We want to continue making this show bigger and better. If you have different topics, send the topics to Quay Price on Facebook. Send the topics to King Jaquel Martin on Facebook. Find us. Let's talk about it. Whatever you guys want to talk about, you know what I mean? We're willing to talk about it on the show, because that's what this show is all about. Real conversations with real people. That's our show.
All right, once again, let's say shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. Everybody down in the comments, shout out to Shay for coming on the panel, Chloe coming on the panel, Peter coming on the panel. So even though Peter be trying to get choked out on here, but that's a whole nother show.
Shout out to Shay Husband too. Shout out to Shay Husband. You know what I'm saying? And him possibly coming on the show to talk about, you know, the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. That's really important. Something that we need to have a better understanding of. So a big shout out to him too.
Yeah, no, we need to do that for sure. But yeah, like I said, come check us out every Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Like I said, once again, shout out to Shay for coming on here and supporting us as well, bringing her perspective. Like I said, we was much appreciated. And like I said, everybody have an awesome night. Catch us next Thursday, and we'll see you guys then.
Hey, what time, Quay? What time on Thursday?
9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, every Thursday night.
Well, one last question, Quay. If they can't catch us here, what other places can they catch the show at?
You know, a majority of our shows are on YouTube. Let's see, we do got a presence on Instagram as well, but yeah, YouTube and Facebook are our main two platforms right now. So yeah, definitely come check us out. Drop some comments. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, and just, you know, continue to support what we're trying to do.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. If you guys have any ideas of how you guys can help us grow, make the show bigger and better, because we want to continue doing this. We want to continue having real conversations with real people. Let us know. We love you guys.
For sure. Appreciate it. And with that being said, everybody have an awesome night.
Yeet. Shout out to LeBron James.